All right, what's going on? Welcome to the first episode of the CML podcast for the first season. Here we are going into week 4, going to be going over the stats and records among all the divisions, who's leading, who's falling behind, and we have a guest in the only AFC team left undefeated going into week 4 that we'll bring on in a couple of minutes. But first, we want to bring up our standings, and we're going to go we're going to go division by division and see where we're at, who's going good and or going well into week 4. And we're midway through week 4 at the moment, but we're going to be just talking about going into week 4. So the first 3 weeks of the season, we're going to have, I believe, 4 of these podcasts throughout the entirety of the first season, one being in the postseason, closer to the draft. So we're going to have this one early on, we're going to have one midway through the season, one late, close to the playoffs, maybe week 15, 16, 17, and then one after the Super Bowl, probably closer to the draft. So starting in the NFC, we've got the NFC East, we've got the Cowboys at 3-0, Giants at 2-1, football team at 1-2, and the Eagles without a win. So Cowboys looking pretty good, shaping up really well. Only one match in their division so far, but looking pretty good. Undefeated. We'll see how that keeps going in the future. Definitely a competitor going forward. Giants can come back. Obviously, they're ahead. That's definitely probably a team that we're watching out for the maybe to take the division. A little bit early to talk about where wild card seeding is, but early on in the season, teams can come back. 0-3 for the Eagles, 1-2 for the football team. It's tough, but teams come back from worse. We're only in week 3, but definitely a rough start for them. Into the AFC North, which is my division, got the Packers 3-0, Vikings 3-0, and then 2-1 teams. So a division that probably wasn't seeming to be as competitive as it is. All teams are positive going into week 4, with 2 teams remaining undefeated. So we're going to see how that turns out with me, the Packers, and our Vikings user, and see how that kind of shapes up. Should be a heated division, looking pretty good so far. NFC South looking relatively competitive. One undefeated team in the Falcons. We have the Panthers 2-1, Bucks and Saints both 1-2 apiece. Falcons definitely looking good heading into week 4. We're excited to see what they continue to do. Definitely a tough team to do really well with. So seems like the user is pretty good. We're going to see what happens, if that streak continues or falls off. Falcons being one of our commish here on the league. Panthers as well being one of our commissioners on the league. Only one loss, still looking good. Point differential is negative, however, so we're looking at 35 points for, 37 points against. If he's going to keep up in this division and in the conference, he's going to have to get those numbers up for sure. Buccaneers and Saints not too far behind. Could definitely be a very, very competitive division going forward. NFC West, no undefeated teams. This is, I think, the only division in the NFC that does not have an undefeated team in it. Rams and Seahawks 2-1. 49ers 1-2. Cardinals 0-3, which is a little surprising. I expected this to be one of the more competitive divisions. Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals, all being very good teams. Cardinals 0-3 very much surprises me. He's getting snipped out at the end of games. Just an unfortunate turn of events. So we will see what happens there, but I expect this division to be more competitive than it looks right now. Heading over to the other conference, the AFC, we have the Dolphins 3-0, the only undefeated team in the AFC. Jets, Bills, Patriots, not looking good. Bills and Patriots user situation has been a little tough. We don't know what's happening with that. I believe we do have a new Bills user, so we'll see what happens there. But this division seems to be kind of off to a slow get, struggling to keep users in that league or in that division. Bills and Patriots. I don't know if they're a tough team to play or what, but hopefully we get some good guys in there, and this division definitely has the potential to shape up to be very, very competitive. AFC North, we've got Ravens, the only positive team in the division, and the Bengals, Browns, Steelers, all three with 1-2 records. This is probably what's expected to be the most competitive division in the league. Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers, all very good teams, especially Steelers with Big Ben, age reset, superstar dev. They've got some weapons. It's a game changer, right? So we'll see what happens here in this division going forward. Not too much to say as we're early on into the league, into the season. But moving to the NFC South, which is spelt with a B instead of an H because Neon's really on top of their stuff. We've got 3 teams that are 2-1, and the Colts are winless. So this could be a very competitive division. We've got the Titans, the Texans, and the Jaguars all looking pretty good so far. We'll see about individual seeding in just a moment. Moving on to the AFC West, another division that should be very, very competitive, but seems to kind of have turned on its head here, with the Chargers and the Broncos being 2-1, and the Raiders and the Chiefs both 0-3. That's pretty tough. I would not have expected the Chiefs to be 0-3, or the Raiders to be 0-3. But, plenty of time. Things could turn around. Another very competitive division going forward. We're going to switch over to looking at the seedings within the conference. If we start, we're going to look at the... actually, I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our guest here. So if you give me one moment. All right, sorry that took a little bit longer than expected, but you're here now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, that's what's up. So I was just going over division standings in here. I'll stream what I'm looking at. I was just going over divisional standings, looking at who's leading where, and early on, it's not so much to look at. We don't have such a good idea of what's gonna be happening going forward into the coming weeks, but we're looking at week 3 up to week 3. We're not looking at week 4 stuff as we haven't updated Neon yet. So going into week 4 is kind of what we're looking at. But I wanted to bring you in now that we're going to talk about the seeding so far and kind of our leaders of the league. As in the NFC, we have a pretty tight conference. We've got 4 teams who are undefeated. We've got Packers, Falcons, Cowboys, Vikings. So almost all but one division has an undefeated team and a very, very high scoring conference. It looks like we have guys averaging 40 to 50 points per game, whereas we look at the AFC, it's more 20s to 30s. But in the AFC, when we look at the number 1 seed, we see the Dolphins, the only undefeated team left 3 weeks into the season. And we know your division's a little shaken up because Patriots and Bills users have been kind of hard to come by. But how have you been liking your games? Have you played? It seems you've played two division games. Were some of those forces, or did you play both of those?
I got the force in the one against the Bills in week 2, but week 1 I played the Patriots, and before he even got all that mess going on, whatever. Yeah. But he was honestly my hardest opponent that I had to play, and it was just my defense just could not stop him at all. But the offense came to play, and I got the win there.
That's what's up. So if we look at the I don't know if we could see, I'm trying to figure out if we could see your schedule going into the coming weeks or not, if it's going to let me. Just showing this week right now, or up to the week that we're doing. I think that if we look here, yeah, no, it's not going to let me see that. But what we could do is, since it's week 1, we could look at the Dolphins schedule. and because you Dolphins don't have the easiest schedule in the NFL, that's for sure. So you've got you said you got to force against the Bills. You played Raiders already.
I did play Raiders. I played Raiders this week.
Gotcha. Okay, and then so you've got some pretty tough games coming up. You've got Colts, who aren't doing so hot, but definitely a team that's could fire off at any moment. We've got the Buccaneers coming up, who I know are hot. They just had a huge game against who was it? I forget who they were playing this week, but they had a massive shootout game. That should be a fun game between the two of you. Later on, you've got some tougher, looks like tougher opponents in the Texans are surprisingly doing very well this season so far. I was expecting them to be the 0-3 team in their division, but they are not. You got Ravens coming up, so I mean, not a crazy schedule, but you've got some tough guys coming up. And as a Dolphins user, how's that? How are you preparing for that? Is Tua still the go-to guy here? Is he treating you well?
Yeah, no, I put a lot of trust in Tua. He's honestly.
Oh, did we lose you there for a second? I can't hear you.
Oh, my fault. I like have it on push to talk, and I don't know how to change it, but
yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. So Tua, he's been doing pretty good for me. I like him. He's just a couple missed throws here and there.
Oh yeah.
But besides that, he's been pretty perfect for me. Besides this last game that I just played against the Colts, he threw like 3 picks, but that was on me. That was all me.
Gotcha.
Before that, it's been pretty.
Did you use your superstar dev on Tua? I don't remember.
I did, but I haven't even changed the dev on or like what, like trait it is. So
we didn't change the dev trait.
I have not, or no, I mean I haven't changed like what superstar things he got. So
okay, yeah, I understand. Well, still the extra XP is nice. So yeah, I mean, looking at the AFC, it's definitely shaping up to be the weaker of the league, as there are 4 teams who are without a win so far. One of them being the Chiefs, surprisingly enough. And it looks like we've only got 7 teams who are positive on the year so far, as opposed to the NFC, where we only have 2. We have 2 winless teams and 10 teams with who are positive on the year so far. But things could shape up. We've got the Ravens, the Jaguars, the Chargers, Broncos, Titans, and Texans, who is here right now. Texans, you joined in a little bit late. Are you here? Can you hear us, or can you speak? If not, that's all right. But yeah, so AFC shaping up to be kind of like a. I don't want to speculate, but it looks like it might be a little bit of a weaker conference compared to the NFC. NFC seems to be shaping up. Buccaneers, you play some really good football. I watched the game this week against who are you playing this week? Bucks. If we're not here, that's all right. That's all right. But Buccaneers had a very good game. I think came out with the win against was it the Patriots? I'm not sure, but came out the win in a really high scoring game. So that 1-2 record going into week 4, I'm expecting to change. But we move to the top of the NFC. We've got me with the Packers. I'm having a hot year, I feel like. I've only allowed, I think, 13 points so far through 3 games. And I've got a point differential of, I think it's plus 80 something. So I feel really good going into it. Defense is pulling through. Offense is going well, like that 21-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I mean, it's really early in the season, so it's kind of hard to look at the standings and get much out of it. But we definitely have a race in both conferences, and I'm excited to see where they pull up mid-season when we come back with another conference. Now, in terms of individual players, we can kind of look at that and assess how we're doing a little bit better. So when we going into week 4, Aaron Rodgers leading the league with passing yards, but only by 11 yards. So we've got Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, and Dak Prescott all relatively close. Cam Newton's only 11 yards behind. Panthers, are you here? Can you hear us or talk to us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's what's up. So you want to tell us a little bit about how Cam Newton's been treating you? A lot of people, I definitely didn't think that he was going to be the guy moving forward for you, but I think you used your age and your superstar on him. So, and it seems to be working out. So how's that going for you?
It's going good. I got a age reset and a star. I didn't get a superstar.
Oh, okay. So age reset and a star. Well, it still seems to be working out. If things keep going the way that they are, if you're able to hold Cam to this kind of passing game for the rest of the season, he very well will be a superstar by the end of the season.
Yeah, I just definitely need to work on the picks. A lot of picks.
A lot of interceptions. Let's see.
Yeah.
We'll have a look here at the intercept. Actually, can I see them here? No, but if I look, let me see. Looking here, statistics for the Panthers. So 9 touchdowns to 13 picks. Definitely a negative there. A little Jameis Winston-esque.
Yeah.
But you're throwing a lot. You're definitely slinging it. Get those interceptions under control, and
yeah, that's my only issue.
Yeah, I think Falcons is leading your division right now. So I mean, that's not a guy that you're going to be able to. You're not going to want to be throwing picks against him.
Exactly.
He's 3-0 at the moment. Now, question about your team. It seems like you're leaning so heavily on the passing game. You do have one of the best, if not the best, running back in the league in Christian McCaffrey. How has he factored into your game?
It's definitely been more passing with CMC. I feel like he's a lot more. I mean, he's obviously the best running back in the league, but passing-wise, he's been pretty decent.
He's your third highest receiver in terms of yards, and your second highest in terms of receptions and targets. So definitely utilizing him in the passing game. And I mean, let's be honest, that's really where Christian McCaffrey shines, right, is in the passing game. 114 yards after the catch. He's really putting in a lot of work on the ground there for you.
It's just hard not to pass with this offense. I mean, you got Pitts, DJ Moore, Terrence Marshall,
that's right,
Ridley, and Robbie Anderson.
Oh, you traded for Kyle Pitts. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not. I would not have expected the Falcons to trade Kyle Pitts to a divisional opponent. But yes, I could definitely understand that. DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, you got Robbie Anderson as well. I mean, what more could you ask for? And then you've got CMC out the backfield. So, I mean, definitely very, very scary offense to kind of go against.
And I worked on my offensive line.
Yeah, so as long as Cam Newton's staying away from throwing those picks, definitely going to be a scary offense to go against.
Yep.
In terms of rushing, Cam Akers on the Rams with 415 yards on the year so far. Dalvin Cook with 355. I believe Dalvin Cook is injured at the moment. But the run game through week 3, it seems like no teams are really heavily leaning towards the run game. I know that the Titans have been in terms of attempts, but in terms of yardage, it seems that a lot of teams are really coming through the air on it. Interesting enough, I'm not seeing Dolphins. I'm not seeing any of your players in the top 5 for any of these leaderships, but yet you're the best you're the best team in the AFC at the moment. So would you say that you're more your offense is more spread out, just kind of like fundamental? What's your, without giving away too much, what's your kind of your game plan when you're going into things like this?
Well, with rushing, I've split the backs. Lindsey and Gaskin have both been getting touches, so they're probably at like 400 combined. right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Waddle's been. Well, I think Waddle's going to be in the top 5 after this week, so
Okay.
you'll see a little bit of him soon too.
Yeah. So in the top 5 in receiving right now, going into week 4, we've got Terry McLaurin at number 1, but tied with Seahawks DK Metcalf at 469 yards. And then in top 5 for receiving, we have 2 tight ends in Mark Andrews for the Ravens and Kyle Pitts for the Panthers. Very tight. And if we look even further in there, I mean, you got Kyle Pitts, and then behind you is Jamar Chase. And this top 5 is really stand above the rest. 425 to 469 yards. And then number 6 is 393 yards. So, I mean, we're going to see how that continues to develop. I know that the Panthers, you have, like you said, you have a crazy receiving core. There's a lot of people to spread that ball out to. So, even just having one on that top 5 is impressive because you have so many weapons.
Pitt's nasty.
He is indeed, especially in Madden. The
rushing leaders, you can see Lamar Jackson in 4 with 283 yards.
That's right. So turning things over to the defensive side of the ball, interceptions. The Dallas Cowboys seem to have one of the best secondaries even so far in this league. We've got Trayvon Diggs with 5 interceptions and Anthony Brown with 4. So 2 cornerbacks from Dallas on the top 5 in interceptions so far in this league. Buffalo's up there with number 1 with Taron Johnson, but again, Trayvon Diggs is tied with that for 5. So, I mean, definitely going to be a scary team to throw against if any of you have to go against them later on in the year. I don't know. I think Panthers, you might. I don't think I do as a Packers. But,
I play him this week, but we still haven't figured out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll talk to you after this.
Yeah, we will. We'll figure that one out. In terms of sacks, we've got some good sack leaders. Max Crosby, Solomon Thomas, both up there on the Raiders, number 1 and number 2 in sacks. So it seems like this pass rush is getting there in the AFC West. That's a scary thing when you've got Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball and you've got 2 D linemen getting in there, sacking the quarterback. 5 sacks for 2 players on the Raiders. That's gonna be a scary D line. Other than that, we got a bunch of 4 sacks. But things are looking good for the Raiders defensively. Let's see what else we were going to talk about before we kind of wrap things up. Oh yeah, I wanted to look at team leaders in terms of total offense and defense and everything. Because individual players isn't just everything. When we look at the top offense in yards per game, we're looking at the Baltimore Ravens at number 1. With let's see, we could break it down even more. If we're looking at points per game, Vikings are up top. We got Vikings, Ravens, Rams, Cowboys, Packers in the top 5. We're looking at strictly just total yards: Vikings, Packers, Cowboys, Panthers, Seahawks. Yeah, so you're cracking into the top 10 there, Dolphins, in terms of total rushing yards so far. And I want to see if I could see. It shows you a good couple of Here's what I was looking for: the differential, the turnover differential. I want to see what's is there a correlation with teams that are doing good, teams that are doing bad? You get the Packers. We have a +9 turnover differential. We're not giving the ball away, and we are taking it away. Tied with the Browns, Browns is currently glitched right now, so we don't have a user for it, and probably won't for the rest of the season. Cowboys coming in with +7. Broncos +6. Vikings +6. But if we look at the other side of the ball, we can kind of see why some of the teams that are on the bottom are on the bottom. With the Chiefs, who are 0-3, having a -8 turnover differential, that's kind of huge. That's the most by 2, second to the Saints, who are -6. So if we look the other way around, Dolphins, you're at +2 turnover differential. Are you throwing a lot of picks? Are you getting a lot of picks? What do you think's happening there?
Honestly, like when this was the thing, like when this like before week 4, I only threw like 1 pick, so it's kind of just more protecting the ball than anything.
Got to work on that defense for sure then, yeah. Because if we look at you only have 1 interception on the year, which is tied for the lowest with the Patriots. Although you do have 1 fumble giveaway. So definitely safe with the ball. Just a matter of getting that defense up. I mean, you're already doing really well. Just keep it rolling forward into the season. I know we were talking about week 3 stuff, but Dolphins, did you win your game against the Colts this week? I didn't get to catch it.
I did. I won 46-35.
Okay, so pretty good win there, and moves you up to 4-0. So still undefeated in the AFC. Think you could carry that to the end of the season?
Yeah, definitely. I've been doing pretty good. Just got to get Tua right, and the Tua Jalen Waddle connection. Just keep that going, and I'll be just fine.
That's what's up. All right. Well, I think for this episode we kind of covered a lot. Again, we'll look at the league leaders in total here, combining AFC and NFC. Packers are number 1, Falcons number 2, Vikings number 3, Cowboys number 4, Dolphins number 5. All five teams still undefeated going into week 4. And I wish we could talk about the week 4 stats, but I haven't updated Neon, and this is more going to be first 3-week oriented. We'll be back with the second episode around midseason, so probably going into week 9, going into week 10, around there, and we'll see how things shake up, and we'll see if we have our same guests, if we have new guests, if we have new leaders, if the teams that are undefeated, if we're still looking at undefeated teams or not. Looks like the Cowboys are probably going to be dropping out of the undefeated category this week. I believe the Vikings still held it up. I think the Falcons still held it up. And the Dolphins still held it up. So we'll see. Looking in another 4 or 5 weeks from now, we'll see where things stand. So thank you guys for joining, and yeah, it's a good time.